Look, I got no idea what I'm doing. I don't know who put me in charge of this thing. Terrible idea. We're gonna play this game again. So I've already been fighting with the GoPro this morning. Great start to the day. It is Tuesday morning. So Friday the head went down. Had a liner problem and a crack in some of the sheet metal. So got a hold of my buddy Southwick, and he said that he could sneak it in for us and get it all fixed up. So he started on that. It was like 4 o'clock Friday when I dropped it off. So they got started on that yesterday morning and got it done yesterday, but I couldn't get there in time to pick it up. I was running around doing some estimates. So that is our plan for this morning. We are on the way to Southeast and we're going to pick the head up and try and get back to work. Originally I kind of planned on working all weekend trying to get ahead of the curve, but such is life, and got a couple of days off, so now we're trying to get back in the groove of things. Yeah. So, like I said, on our way to Southeast right now to to pick the head up, and then we're gonna head to Neponsit, and we'll be back in action. So, good start to a Tuesday morning. Got my cup of coffee and we're ready to rock and roll. Alrighty guys, well, got the head picked up. Kind of BS with my buddy Southie for a while, and headed to the job site. So once we get there, I got to get the head on the machine, get the machine fired up, fueled up. When I left on Friday, it was kind of hammered down and trying to make it to Southeast in a hurry. So I didn't fuel the machine or anything else. So we're going to be doing that as soon as we get there. Kind of let the machine warm up for a little bit. I got one knife that I need to fix. When that liner came apart, it messed one of the knives up, so we'll get that taken care of and get things ready to roll. So I will probably cut you guys off here, and then once I get there and hopefully remember to grab the camera when I start getting the machine set up, and then we'll get rolling. Alright guys, just got to the job site. Hopefully the machine fires up. Still have to get a new battery for this thing, but I've been trying to get some of these projects done. So we'll see. Oh yeah. All right. Let that warm up for a second. And then start getting this head hooked back up. Alright guys, I think we're finally ready to get back to work. So, got the head picked up, put back on, got the one knife fixed, new wiper blade, filled up the washer fluid, fueled it. So now that it's almost noon, I think we're finally ready to go. So I'm just letting the head spin up for a little bit. I want to make sure that the bearings got good grease in them, and so we're going to be red hot and rolling here soon. You guys turned around. Alrighty, let's get at it. So I'm not sure what order these videos are going to come out in, but like I've said in the past couple, we've had a few breakdowns, which isn't a huge ordeal. I mean, it's, you never want to deal with it, but this is all just normal everyday stuff in the business. So got that stuff squared away. The only downside is, you know, when I've had these breakdowns, they're a couple of days at a time, and a couple of them have happened over the weekend. You know, something will happen on like a Friday or a Thursday, and I can't get parts until the next Monday. So it's all part of it, but you know, realistically, if things had gone the way that I hoped, I'd be probably about a week ahead of where I'm at right now. Which, like I said, it's not a problem. You know, normally when I have customers that accept bids or scheduled work, I'm normally very upfront with them that, you know, I try and give them a rough time frame of when I think I'll be able to get there. And then I always tell them, you know, once I know I'm closer, I'll be in touch and we'll make sure it still works for your schedule. But realistically, between equipment and weather and life, I am very hesitant to give anybody a hard date on when I'm going to be there until usually a couple of days beforehand. There's just too many variables and too much stuff that can go wrong. So like I said, in a perfect world, I'd be about a week ahead of where I'm at right now, but you know, I was planning on working all weekend this weekend, and that didn't happen because the head was at the welder. I think when the bearing went out, I lost that weekend. So like I said, not complaining. It's not completely unexpected. It's just I've had a few of those that have happened kind of back to back, and you know, waiting on parts or waiting for stuff to get fixed has fortunately cost me a little bit of time that I was hoping to use to get kind of back on schedule. So such is life, but we are back up and running now, and we're going to start knocking this stuff out. I can see the fence line, so if you guys look up there, kind of above the head, that cross fence that's up there is the end of this fence line. So the home stretch is on inside, at least for this side of the ditch. And as soon as we get this side done, we got to track back around and start on the other side of it. So there's actually quite a bit of ground in between that we're not going to touch. It's really just the fence lines and ditch banks on either side. You know, they want to get back to the point where they can mow it, and landowner's actually been out here with his backhoe taking out some of the bigger stuff that he didn't want to mulch up. So again, awesome projects with awesome customers make things go a lot smoother. So he actually went out ahead of me. There's, I guess, a couple of places up ahead that there was still some barbed wire he didn't know about. So he was going to go in and pull all that stuff out for us. And there were a few big limbs that over the years they just pushed off out of the way. So he's been going along and pulling those out, getting that stuff stacked up. So between what we're doing and what he's doing around us, kind of the same thing as the last forestry project, this property is really going to change in a hurry because everybody's kind of jumping in together to get it done. So always a cool thing to be able to work with homeowners or landowners like that, and it's something I enjoy because obviously I enjoy what I do, and being able to work side by side with them where not only can they see the improvements as we go, but they're building off of what we're doing right away. So cool, just kind of a cool little aspect of it. But I'm probably going to cut you guys off here in a little bit. Just wanted to get some video now that we're actually back up and running. And once we get a little further down the road, I'll probably fire you guys back up. Alright, well, we are getting close to the fence line. I figured this is probably a I don't know, kind of an interesting section to fire you guys up. I doubt we're going to take all this material out of here, but as you can tell, Right over there is the fence line. We're real close. So the home stretch is in sight on this one. But like I said, this material is pretty thick and it's kind of all over the place, so it may actually at least give you guys some cool footage of me trying to tear my way through a mess and make something decent out of it. Well, unfortunately, we got a knife that's worked its way loose a couple of times. And with all the monkeying around I've done the past week with this head, unfortunately the wrench I had in here to tighten knives up got put back in the work truck. So I just tried to throw a crescent wrench on it the best I could. Not ideal, but as long as I can keep it from flying off and going into orbit. Once I get back to the truck, well, basically once I finish this little section up, I'll be heading back towards the truck anyway. So I'll just run over there real quick and probably grab an extra bolt and nut and just bring it with me just in case, but grab the wrench and throw that back in here for now. Well, spin this thing around here. So, got up to the corner here. And all the way way down all that timber. So, looking pretty good. Alright guys, well, we are getting towards the end of the day. It's almost 6 o'clock. We're running out of daylight pretty quick, so I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna run, so I figured I would fire you guys up real quick for a nightcap. So, talked to the landowner for a little bit. He was out cruising around, just checking progress. He's super happy with the way things look. He's actually already making plans for next year's budget. So that's a good thing. Other than that, we're just chipping away. So this side of the ditch, I knew for the most part, material wise, not quite as heavy as what's on the other side. So this section, other than what's on the other side of the fence, for the most part has been pretty well kept knocked back. So we're just doing some touch up, kind of clean up, so that they can get in here and take this fence out at some point. So kind of what the landowner is thinking, or what he just asked. He wants to come in here with his grandson and pull all this old fence out, and wanted to know if we can get in there, like once the fence is gone, if we can get in there and clear a little bit deeper into this timber, which obviously we can take care of once the fence is out of the way. But for now, he just wants, you know, up to the fence and whatever I can get realistically on the other side of it, so that he can spray it and get the old fence pulled out and just kind of start taking the next steps. So that is what we're doing. All right, guys. Well, gonna kind of put a cap on this one. So it's about 7 o'clock and headed home. It's starting to rain, so I think the rain may turn into snow at some point. So we're just gonna call it a day. I'm on my way across the pasture now, so I just wanted to put a wrap on this one and say thanks for watching, and thanks for sticking around even through all the craziness with the channel, and we will see you tomorrow.